Hello, welcome. It is the first episode of the Mover and Gonky show on both channels, simulcast on the Ready Room with Gonky and then CW Lemoine. That's me. If it's your first time to the channel, welcome. I'm Mover, CW Lemoine. I wrote some books. They're available, cwlemoine.com. I know it's not great to talk about books these days. Speaking of books, we'll get to that in a second, but we have to go in chronological order, I guess, numerical. Gonky is the host of the Ready Room and the co-host of this show. He's got dial-up internet that speed tested at all of 3 megabytes per second earlier this evening, so we're hoping it holds up. He flew the Hornet and T-38 with me. I flew the Hornet and the Viper. And, of course, our famous Mustang driver, T.R. Matson, author of Vengeance Flight, Treason Flight, trmatson.com. Go buy his book and talk about his Mustang. He flew the E2 and the Hornet. He will be here as he can. This is a podcast now, so it's on Spotify and probably iTunes or wherever once we finish editing. So we've got topics. If you want your comment heard, you're probably going to have to use Super Chat because we're probably not going to see it. But go check out Wombat's book, which I got today. I'm so excited. I got the hardcover, so to speak, today, and it looks really good. So good job, Wombat, with that. So first thing we're going to talk about. Welcome. It's personalized.
First edition.
I
don't know.
So
it's catchphrases. So.
They are catchphrases. So let me get off of this, so to speak, because now we're a team. Or what do you guys? You like this one instead?
No. Further away is better.
Further away.
It was like turning the lights on at the bar at 2 a.m. Yikes.
Train is off the tracks already. We've been here for all of 2 minutes. So why are we doing this?
To talk about freedom.
Gonky, why are we what is the purpose of this podcast? Let's talk about why, and then we can get into the what.
I think Todd,
I thought he was frozen already.
I'm right here.
It's working, freedom, man. I promise.
It is working. Sorry.
Please keep this together.
This is together. No,
this is okay. All right, Gonky's just going to sit there and look pretty. Wombat's job
nobody knows
is to interject.
Frozen.
Here we go again.
The same all the time.
Wombat, your job is when his wife picks up the phone to call like Domino's and he freezes, you can interject and talk to get comic relief while we're doing that. But why are we doing this? Because we wanted to, because we needed a way to consolidate and make better content together. And we thought actually talking about topics, because we can break this up into mini episodes. We're just going to try it. We'll see what happens. So, and that's enough on that. Let's go to our first topic, because I think we're and Gonky's gone already.
He lasted a lot longer than I thought he would. Let's be honest.
That's what she said. Just so we're clear, the appearance of DoD visual does not imply or constitute endorsement. The views presented are our own or our guests. Seriously, Gonky, really, man?
Did he really drop out? Like, is that really his internet?
He's gone.
I love it.
He's gone.
I love it.
All right. Device is not connected. Now it's nothing. It's a
wait.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Let's be honest. The real reason for you guys to do this podcast is so you make enough money so Gonky has something better than AOL.com.
That's why I said use the super chat, because that's the only way. And go to his channel and use a super. Oh, we already have a super chat. All right.
They kicked me out, man.
I can't even. This dude was in the. So this is pretty cool. We're already off the rails here. Mover Gonky Wombat DCS Dogfight for fun. Make a YouTube video maybe. He was actually in a DCS competition yesterday. I watched him, and you guys might remember the dude he fought. Remember White Lion, the one that special was like thought it was the great guy. He fought White Lion in the Fox 3 Top Gun thing. Didn't work out really well. He was flying the old Dorito, the Mirage 2000, but awesome to see him here. It's cool to see the crossover.
Yeah.
All right. Enough of that. So our first topic, Gonky, welcome back. I'm glad you could join us for your podcast on your channel. We are going to talk about the F-22s at Langley, which is something that is kind of near and dear to our hearts, because we lived this. We were part of this for the entire time. And the title is The F-22 Flight Training Begins at Virginia Base After Years in Limbo. And that is the understatement of the century. It says Air Force has started teaching student pilots to fly the F-22 Raptor jet at Joint Base Langley, Eustis, Virginia, June 14th. Started at F-22 training after Hurricane Michael destroyed the mission's sole home. We want to get them in the mindset of what it's like to be in a fighter squadron and why it's important. Hurricane Michael was a Category 5 storm, and now they've consolidated everything there. That's the entire article that we will be talking about. I'm not going to read the whole thing, because basically it's just saying my first flight was mind-blowing. This is great. The Raptor is awesome. But I really want to talk about, so they're retiring, and then they're consolidating the mission, and then Tyndall is going to get F-35s. So, Gonky, walk us through your memory. Take us down memory lane with this.
Well, I read that article.
How did this happen? Yeah.
Well, Hurricane Michael came 2018 and destroyed the base. But I read through that article, and like you said, we kind of lived it. And there's a couple of things I disagree with. I mean, Tyndall, I think you could agree with me, is a phenomenal. The location, you can't beat it. They've got, like, the ranges are just right off the coast, and there's really nothing around it. I've flown a little bit up there around in the Virginia area, and it's very congested. So the B course, they're still doing all the sims at Tyndall, like all of them, and then they send them up to Virginia for the flight training. So it's a little disjointed. So I don't know how it's going to work out, but I remember it being glorious as a T-38 radar guy. I mean, it's I was at the field today, and there are no more T-38s on the ramp, and I could have shed a tear.
Yeah, well, I was looking at the group chat, and I saw when one of the guys in the Tufits said the last T-38 is gone. And that was kind of bittersweet. Obviously, we did our Finney flights a year and a half ago. So we weren't there for the entire time, which is its own story into and of itself. I mean, that's the whole thing. Why we're not flying fighters anymore. But where's that banner again? But the thing is, yeah, we've while you were gone, Gonky, we already did this, but just so we rehack the user our own and don't represent that. But the thing about the entire situation, from the hurricane hitting, devastating Panama City, which actually, if you remember, that's what got the DCS train started on this channel, right? Because as soon as Hurricane Michael hit, the channel was still nothing. It was in his infancy. And I said, hey guys, listen, if you guys raise, I think there was a GoFundMe for $5,000. I said, if you guys can square that corner for $5,000, I'll go do DCS. Cause I didn't even know what DCS was at the time. And they did it. They did it. I mean, the viewers raised that money in like 2 days. And that really helped. And, you know, I thank them for that. I thank the viewers. I think that's awesome. And my first time flying DCS was about like Gonky's first time flying DCS. And then we got Gonky, you know, in the 1v1.
You were that good?
I was awesome. I was using the view hat, you know, like you were doing, because I didn't want to use the stupid Track IR hat. But in the time between 2018 and our last flight in January of 2022, we were at the tail end of the whip. They did not know what to do. I mean, all the way from the squadron level to SecAF and, you know, the Pentagon, there was just no coherent strategy because, you know, a hurricane wiping out a base with a deteriorating mission, it's something that, you know, we don't talk about a lot. And it's, you know, it's a 1,000-year storm, 100-year storm. I mean, it was a Cat 5 to hit that base, you know, and wipe it out. And we were there, 3 weeks ago? Yep. And it's still, I mean, 4 years later, 5 years later, it still looks like, you know, Balad.
Yeah.
You know,
it does not. They're still
like,
tearing stuff down.
Yeah.
Well, I have good news for you guys. There's no history of hurricanes ever hitting the Virginia area. So they should be safe now. That was a good move on the Air Force's part. They put their Raptors in a nice, safe area that's far away from hurricanes, so you don't have to worry about that. So problem solved. Kudos.
Thank you, Wombat. That was.
Well, you were getting all serious, and it's.
Well, but that's a good point.
Wombat has a point.
Well, it's not so much the hurricane; it's the airspace, right?
The airspace sucks. It's horrible there.
Yeah,
it's
what did we have at Tyndall? We had everything, anything you could have possibly wanted. You took off, you know, and you were almost there. And a lot of times
you are in Virginia Beach too, but it's you and every one of your friends is also almost there. That's probably the biggest difference. Because you're right there at the working areas. I mean, Oceana was that way.
Well, we spent 4 of those years at Eglin, and I got to tell you, Eglin was not prepared, nor did they want to have us there, because, you know, they've got a commercial presence. You know, it's a dual use. They've got the airliners from all the different airlines landing there because it's a beach destination. They've got civilian traffic. They've got the test guys, and they don't have the footprint to support large force, the LFEs that we would do with, you know, 12 T-38s and 4 Raptors or whatever it would be. And that is the first time I have ever gone to a place and they have almost run me out of gas. Not once, but multiple times. Gonky, how many times did you, I mean, that's the first time I'd ever declared emergency fuel was at Eglin, just in general.
Yeah. I started adding like hundreds of pounds to my bingo numbers.
Well, we had to, yeah.
As they got to work.
We had to add fuel. So, you know, during that time, they didn't know where to put us as far as where to operate our building or spaces. You know, they ended up putting the T-38 guys in a line shack for a little while, which that didn't work out. Actually, they redid it. It became pretty nice by the time they left. I mean, compared to what we were, the best was when we were in the F-30, what was going to be the F-35 space, because, you know, it was a former Navy F-35C area. But just in general, I think the biggest problem is going to be single runway, bad airspace. But the good news is they're consolidating the fleet. And let's be honest, the F-22 doesn't have much shelf life left. I mean, they're not planning on keeping this jet much longer, you know, 10 years, maybe. You know, it's not.
That's crazy.
It's not an aircraft. Yeah.
The chances of a hurricane in 10 years are like 0.
But on that note, now the F-35 mission is going to be picked up at Tyndall, which is already getting slipped to the right because of, you know, delays with contractors and whatnot. And you're going to replace that. And what are the odds a hurricane comes back to Tyndall? And you've got the same,
0.
But new buildings. We're good.
Yeah.
New buildings, brand new military construction. All right. Well, I think we've butchered that one enough. I do have one. So I forgot to say this in the beginning because Gonky got just punted from the whole thing. LSU won the World Series. I don't watch baseball, so I just know I turned it on like the last game, and it was like 18-4 or something, and I'm like, that doesn't sound like a baseball score. So I wasn't sure if they were like counting runs, hits versus. I don't understand baseball stats. However, a close friend of the channel sent me this today, and he said that he would like it to be known to the LSU baseball team that this is compliments of the grandson of an LSU baseball player, Teal Calhoun. And look, I'm just going to show this widescreen so you don't see our faces. And watch. All right, so for legal purposes, that's a joke and doesn't represent the DOD or its employees. There it is.
Look, they did pick a great jet. They did pick a jet.
Yeah, dude, but anyway, cool for them. I'll put that on the gram. Congratulations to LSU and go awesome. Tigers. But our next, hold on, while we have the technical, oh God, what did I just do? I'm on the wrong screen. See, this is why we can't have nice things.
Is this where Gonky and I just talk and
talk about it? Look,
yeah, no problem. We'll just chat. How you doing, Gonky? You doing okay? Life okay?
Instant justice. Look, all right.
Yeah.
Our next topic: questionable fuel dumping. I'm sorry, dude. I'm interrupting you. People are going to be mad at me. Go ahead.
Oh, well, that you were saying about fuel dumping?
I've never once questionably dumped it. I've been pretty dead set.
No, it's the wrong. That was the picture.
Oh, this is awesome.
Oh,
this is great.
Why did it unshare the screen? Oh, because
that guy's going to take his super chat money back if you don't. Is there refunds on that? Like,
no, Here we go. All right, here's the article. Here's the article right here. And those of you that watch my channel, terrible. Well, so spoiler alert, man. So those of you that watch my channel will see that this is from a place that I just finished talking about, and same author. And the reason I brought this up is because somebody in the chat was like, hey, if you like that article, check this one out. And now I wanted to see what Gonky and Wombat said. So I don't think Wombat has seen this or read this.
No. I've prepared for this as much as I've prepared for every other one of these we've done together.
Your job is just to sit here and look pretty.
Nothing.
I'm going to remove my logo there from my noggin. So it as with every great news article, it's based off of a TikTok.
Ooh.
And it says, why is this fighter jet peeing out the fuel? And
emptying its fuel tank while still in.
I can't take the accent. Emptying its. Look, there's an E2, I think.
Yes.
Was that an E2? Yes. We're on Gonky potato internet speeds here. It's not running it. Okay.
Yes.
The E2 can't dump though, right?
Beijing has just figured out that I'm making fun of their app.
How long did you fly around ships? You never noticed it? God, you're such a fighter pilot that only cares about himself. Holy hell, man.
I know that
I'm giving airplanes. I'm giving up on a video. I'm just going to read the article to you because it's enough. It says,
unbelievable.
Watch this fighter jet empty its tank in midair on purpose. When we see a fighter jet emptying its fuel tank in midair, we might start to panic. It just doesn't feel normal. It actually is normal, says Vexer Media. Yeah, I don't care that it's normal. I don't like it. As we see in the video, the fighter jet is literally expelling, there's that literally word again, expelling all of its extra fuel in midair before it lands. There's a reason for this.
It's definitely not figuratively doing it, that's for sure.
These jets have insanely heavy fuel tanks. Landing with a full or even half full tank of fuel could cause structural damage to the aircraft. This is common practice for all aircrafts.
Yes.
Have we not been over this? The plural
Multiple
of aircraft is aircraft. It's just aircraft. It's deer. It's just
triggered.
you don't add an S.
Triggered.
I am triggered. This is common practice for all. Wait, oh God, I'm stuck in a loop now. From small military planes to entire passenger planes. If the jet is too heavy upon landing, it could cause internal damage. Actually, this article or the video is playing now. It
Also
talks about
external damage, if we're being honest.
Delta getting sued is at the end here. Just see it dispersed into the airstream.
Yep.
If the jet is too heavy upon landing, it could
dumping.
cause internal damage, and it could mess with the actual landing of the jet, causing it to skid across the runway and miss its mark. At an airport, this might not seem like such a big deal, but
like
imagine this happening if you're landing on an aircraft carrier. According to the manufacturers, this is done high enough. According to the manufacturers, this is done high enough in the air so that it vaporizes and instead just goes into the airstream. Just goes into the airstream. That's her words repeating. Though people may not be at risk most of the time, that doesn't make this practice okay with me. What kind of impact is this having on air quality? What about the wildlife in the area? How does it impact bird migration patterns? It's a little strange to me that this kind of issue, with all the incredible technology we have, hasn't been addressed yet. Is there really nothing they can do? Think of the children. Who do you think could come up with a way to combat this fuel pollution? My money's on Elon Musk. Save us, Elon. Save us. And go.
Okay, so let's talk about the altitude because I just want to confirm on this. So when I was an LSO and guys like Gonky were landing and forgot to turn their fuel dumps off, I was approximately 70 feet above the water. Oh, and he's gone.
Where did he go?
Oh my God.
Gonky!
Dude, this is going to be the shortest podcast ever because your partner does not believe in paying.
It sounds like we're going with the next man up. So just continue, Wombat. That's your
anyway.
Your Mondays have just been cleared. We're just going to take him off the patch and put it Wombat with sometimes Gonky.
Jeez. Of course we dump fuel. How do you not dump? Oh, you're back. Let's talk about the fighter pilots of the air wing that typically the dual seat guys, I'll give you, that can't forget or can't remember to turn their fuel dumps off at night and come across the ramp of the ship. I know you did that at least once in your career. And spray the LSOs with fuel. So exactly what height is safe? Because internally ingested did not feel safe. I'm just saying.
What was the rule?
Yes.
5,000?
No.
4,000.
Dump
4,000?
Was that really the rule? But then they turn them on in
at
the
the
break.
At the ship, it didn't matter. It's over water.
Yeah, at the ship, there's no rules whatsoever. It's a Wild West. So, and what does it do to the environment? I don't know. For my months and months and months in the Persian Gulf,
it evaporates.
There's some amazing size sea snakes that you could see from the air. I'm assuming they're mutants from all the fuel. So
is that why you have such a fear of sea snakes, Gonky? Because that's a real thing in the Navy when they were messing with you?
You've seen them, haven't you? Flying? Yeah, you were too busy looking at yourself in the mirror. Forget it.
Yeah, sea snakes was a little joke the Air Force guys pulled off. It's okay. I'm over it.
I know. That's so Gonky, tell us when you would fuel dump and why.
Well, you always take on as much fuel as possible if you're at the ship, and then at the last second you dump it all and land at max trap. So you want to have maximum fuel when you touch down in case you miss all the cables, have a bad night, and so you have gas to go around and try her again. That's why we did it.
Remember a wise. Nobody cares at the field. I mean, it's at the ship, right?
At the field, if you're too heavy to land, you could dump. But in fighters, that wasn't a problem.
Yeah. Would you ever be? I don't remember ever being too heavy in a Hornet to come right back around and land. Is there? I don't remember that.
Bombs? If you had bombs or something, like if you were
a little shot of gas, right? Just cushion it a little bit. I don't know. I don't remember that, but I do remember Gonky's frozen. I do remember a wise Hornet pilot once told me when I did my transition that Navy pilots are one of two things. They're either really good at tanking or they're really good at landing on a ship. That's just
they're really bad at the internet.
They're horrible at the internet. You dump fuel all the time. The amount of fuel that I dumped is astronomical, and I never even flew one of the tanker aircraft. So it happens.
I mean, as far as this article goes, it's not the worst I've seen from her. There was a whole thing about the A-10s in the Army that I went down a whole rabbit hole on this. But so partially correct. The Hornet, obviously, you could fuel dump. I only did it a couple times. Usually it's emergency related where you got to reduce gross weight to a certain
At the field.
Yeah, arrested
100%.
landing or
Yep.
yeah. In the Viper, with our itty bitty brakes, we don't have fuel dumps. So the only way to dump fuel is burner and boards. Throw out as much drag as you can and light the blower, min blower, and just circle a field until you get to an acceptable weight, or jettison what you have if it's a real big emergency. But typically,
do you remember how fast you could burn it?
In burner, it's like 40,000 pounds an hour or something like that.
Yeah,
like
it's
40, 50.
Like I want to say the Hornet, it was really close to. Hey, look who's back! I want to say that the Hornet, if I remember, and if Gonky stays online for more than 7 seconds, he can fact check me on this. But I seem to remember the Hornet. If you did blower and boards, you almost burned it as fast as you dumped it. Almost.
Board,
like
just the board.
Sorry, the board. Like it was pretty
Unless
close.
It's a Super Hornet.
Yeah, super. There's nothing super about Super Hornets, but yeah, that was my recollection that I remember. Is that no kidding? Like, I mean, you could either burn it fast or you could dump it. But at the ship, we would dump all the time. Like Gonky said, you come back. I mean, your goal is to be right at max trap every time. So, because that's the only way you give yourself options. But
all right. I want to take a moment while Gonky's frozen because we've got a couple super chats here. Does Gonky have any good stories about Ponch's wife? Oh,
he's gone. Apparently he does not, or maybe he does.
I'm so happy to see this experiment is such a phenomenal success. Just want to add to the Gonky Internet Relief Fund. Please, God, help this poor man. We need the Sarah McLachlan. If I wouldn't get a copyright strike for Sarah McLachlan,
that would be amazing.
I would totally, for just $1 a day, you too can help. Poor Gonky.
Retired fighter pilot.
Yeah. He's not retired yet.
Well, he's retired from fighter piloting, that's for sure. You know what's the best about this is you have no idea what we're talking about when you're gone.
I can imagine.
This awesome.
Podcast is going to be awesome. People are going to be driving down the road going, this podcast doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I don't understand.
Does not at all.
If they do. Gonky, this question was for you. So the question was, does Gonky have any good stories about Ponch's wife? I literally went to high school with her. Who or what? The only Ponch I know is from
Ponch's
Chips.
wife.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I thought he was a single man. And
No, Ponch is married. Yeah, Ponch is married. And wow, that's pretty awesome. I don't have any really good stories about there's one story, I'll tell it. We're at a party and the new guy, we'll just call him Leash, he was there. And Leash came up to me and said, "Hey man, Ponch bought his daughter?" I was like, "No man, that's his wife." So that was it.
I feel like that story would have been funnier if
she was
your
wonderful.
internet did not hiccup right in the middle of the punchline. But there's no way of telling.
Guys,
Look, I want to thank Nate for this awesome graphic that's only going to be used one time because that's all this show will ever last is the one time. So thanks, Nate. That was a cool patch. It worked out for one day. Here we go. Look, I even made a breaking news ticker. How are we ever going to use that if we can't be live? All right, back to...
We're off the rails. Moving on. Let's keep it
back to the next thing. Is Gonky frozen or scowling?
There's no way to tell. It's his normal face now.
I'm telling you, dude. I think the answer is to have Gonky phone in and we just have this picture up.
It's the same thing, except he'd be on the phone. It's more reliable. Can we set up a GoFundMe for his internet?
I'm on the phone.
How much does he need?
Dude, he's at 3 megs per second. I'm pretty sure that I don't know. All right. We're off the rails here. Off the rails. And he's gone. We'll never know if he rage quits. How would we know? I'm glad you're here, Wombat, because if it was just me, I would be talking to myself. Actually, Doug's here. Doug.
I mean, Come
Say
on,
hello
dude.
with the voice from God.
We'd have the voice of God and Wombat and Mover.
But dude, come on, man. Everybody in the internet world knows. I mean, you're a fighter pilot. You could talk about yourself all the time. Be this whole podcast. It's no big
That's
deal.
true. That's true.
It wouldn't even phase you. I'm surprised you even noticed Gonky keeps coming in and out, to be honest with you. What are we talking about next?
He sent me
Is
a
he
message.
texting you now?
He says, should I just call in? I'm sorry, man. I'll have faster internet next
No,
week.
he won't. No, he will not. How long has he been doing this?
Oh, dude, just
Please set up a
just keep
GoFundMe. Like literally, if
trying.
everybody just gave $1, we could at least pay for him to have enough internet to do a damn show. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous. Your show is all about motivating the next generation of pilots. Is this motivating?
Yeah, well,
the kids that are watching this have far
they're
better
watching this
internet in
going,
their parents' basement.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. They're like, if I go fly fighters, can I afford internet?
Yeah, exactly.
It's not the fighter part. It's the having kids.
That's not true. My internet's just
that's
fine.
right. Yeah, but you're a rich airline guy. Yeah. All right. Here's Gonky. Once again, at last we meet for the first time for the last time. You have
of
the
the
internet.
31 and a half minutes that
Connection
we've been
is-
live, how many have you been here for? Don't talk. It'll just kill your internet. Just smile.
Gonky really is just the pretty face. Next on our topic, the T-7 Redhawk trainer jet makes its first flight.
There we go.
There we go.
T7.
There we go. Oh, we're on the wrong side. What just happened? Let's go with that side. Well, you know what? I liked it the other way. How do I do that again? Oh, well.
Oh my goodness. People are going to be listening to this driving, right?
I know. They're not. They're not. It's probably 4 people. And hello, you 4 people. We appreciate you. T-7 Redhawk jet takes its first flight. The Air Force's new T-7 Redhawk training jet flew for the first time Wednesday in St. Louis, Missouri. It's the first flight beginning of the T-7's final development phase before Boeing starts producing military-ready jets. Redhawks will replace the Air Force's 6-decade-old T-38 Talon trainers as the main platform that prepares American and foreign pilots to fly fighter and or bomber aircraft. Over the course of the hour-long trip from St. Louis, Major Bryce Turner, a test pilot with the 416th, gauged how smoothly the plane maneuvered and tested secondary systems like the auxiliary power supply. Oh boy. The pair vetted how well the plane handled positive and negative G-forces as a pilot experiences when accelerating or flying upside down, practice in high altitude airspace. The stable performance of the aircraft and its advanced cockpits and systems are game changers for the Air Force and instructors and students alike. It's got a digital cockpit. The Air Force plans to buy 351 starting in December 2025 under the contract that was awarded back in 2018 for $9.2 billion. Air Force officials now plan to decide in early 2025 whether to begin building operational jets, meaning the service would start receiving aircrafts 2 years later than originally intended. This thing has been, there's all kind of things. The T-38's having engine problems, but the reason I brought this article to light is because we were flying the T-38A at Eglin, and in pilot training, I flew the T-38C, and I think when I flew the T-38C, as old as I am, in 2007, that jet was too old. It was too old. Yeah. Well, let's just keep going. We're just gonna press. Like the show must go on. But the trainer, like the Navy said, hey, we're gonna get a T-45. When did the T-45 go into service?
What is this? A quiz? Come on. Like, I don't know.
Okay.
At least 2000. Well, they were doing mixed bags in 2004. So
okay, perfect. In the 2000s, which is around the time the T-38C came out, they needed to develop a new trainer. This T-7 is awesome, but it needed to happen 20 years ago when the T-6 was coming online. When the T-6, they were like, hey, we need a T-6. Cool. T-6, T-38, because the T-38 does not replicate anything in the fleet that the Air Force has, and it hasn't in about 60 years. Like, it actually was obsolete almost immediately because once the Century Series fighters were gone, that's it. Like the F-16, F-15, none of those jets were applicable to this. So I mean, it's cool, but it's too late. And I love that it's got the commonality with, F-35, the touch screens you can get from one and simulate all that stuff. That's awesome. It's got high performance. It's a hot rod, but it's just too late. And it goes to show you how bad contracting is. It's almost as bad as Gonky's internet. The fact that we can't develop a new trainer in a short amount of time and get it airworthy and without significant delays like Gonky's internet.
I was going to say you can use your breaking news banner for what I'm about to say here, but
Hold on.
Breaking news, a government plane is behind schedule. I mean, is this any different than anything you saw your whole career? F-35, F-22, the Super Hornet variants. This is what we do. We're behind schedule, and it's ridiculous.
Well, okay.
And I agree with you. It looks like a really cool plane, although I say that it looks a little odd to me. Am I the only one that thinks it looks a little odd, or it just looks? Go to the picture.
That little guy. That guy.
I wouldn't worry about that little guy. Like the canopy looks too long. It looks like one of those.
It looks like it's got visibility.
Well, okay. It looks like one of those CGI'd Top Gun Maverick things.
It looks like you eject through the canopy, just like Fat Amy. Like, I don't know what this obsession is with canopy fracturing systems.
I mean, the T-45 is the same way, right?
It's because it's British. The Brits love to go through the glass. They don't like to throw the canopy out the way. They want to go through it.
Yeah. Well, that's noble until you see what it does when one of those canopies explodes and gets into your skin. But
did we lose Gonky again? Where did he?
Well, I think he's here in spirit.
I'm here.
And maybe, you know what would be better, Gonky, is just log in and just make comments on the side. That might be easier. You have, really your inaugural podcast is amazing, and I'm happy.
This is going great. This is going
next
great.
Week.
Just type it to us, and we'll say what you want to say. How about that? That'll be quicker. You text us.
Text to chat.
We'll set it.
Gonky, say something about the T-7 Redhawk first flight, please.
It's awesome. I mean, we're long over. But I read.
You have too many cookies. Delete your cookies.
What is this?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Let's just go ahead and skip to this one.
Just going to go right into
right now. We're going to the last one.
A retake of the blooper reel.
Live.
That's basically what this will become now.
Where the points don't matter and Gonky's internet's not keeping score.
Everyone wins.
Oh boy! Oh look!
A whole sentence.
Look. People are really People are really super chatting this. Gonky adds value with his beautiful smile. That's from Techno Faisal. You got $2 Canadian, which I don't know what the rate is. Oh, sorry, you wanted to respond to that. Go ahead if you can.
I'll take it.
Macbeth gives you.
Thank
I
you.
think that. It's either $4.99 US dollars or 69 cents US. I don't know what
69 cents. Trust me,
it's the 69 cents
on the book.
Gonky needs Starlink ASAP. The fundraiser starts now. Elon Musk, please rescue.
Dude, you know how
Gonky's
dope
internet.
that would be if this got so viral that literally Elon bought Gonky internet.
It's a hashtag. Save Gonky's dial-up must go now. Anonymous says, I saw the T-7 fly before it was announced. Perks of working in the flight path of Lambert. That's awesome. I
just can't tell if I think it's a cool looking plane or not. I need to see it again.
Well, here's what I like. I like the folks at Saab.
Right? Okay, Gonky agrees. I think.
The folks at Saab are really good. They're really cool. The Grippen's awesome. And the fact that they're working on this gives me hope. Just like Leonardo working on the MH-139. I mean, Boeing by themselves, not so great with the helicopters. But if you add a good partner like Leonardo or Saab, you might get something good.
We'll see.
It's fast.
Paul just threw in a buck just for Gonky.
I want this to go viral. This is going to be my next thing. I used to donate to Wake for Warriors, which helps wounded vets. Now I've got to put a pause on that.
Internet for Gonky.
Even the veterans would want the money to go in this. It's gotten too bad.
Hold on, I'm going to create a hashtag.
Killing me,
Oh
man.
my goodness. It's really not us, dude. Just so we're clear, this has nothing to do with either of us.
Dude, I don't think Gonky's got a modem. Do you have a modem, or are you just dialing in? Is it the modem that you're?
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know what a modem is. Is that the square thing?
Hey, brother, you don't have to start that statement with "I'm going to be honest." Everybody knows.
Yeah, we
It's
know.
very obvious.
We've met you. Gonky is an analog man living in a digital world.
Yes.
Oh man,
This is the greatest fundraiser ever, dude. Like if please buy Gonky a faster.
Seriously, this is I think you figured out your niche on how you're going to make money off this podcast.
I don't think he will, because he's going to have to apply it to his internet. It's just going to be a break even.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
No.
Can we get back to the
It'll
be
be
stories
better.
for the
I'll figure this out.
Some people actually logged on to learn about aviation or something. I don't know why people log on. But
Gonky, you did some research on the
I'm
T7.
I'm sorry.
Tell us about the T7 so that we have some usable content for your channel.
Well, from what I actually heard, since my internet's spotty, you guys covered some of it. I mean, it's the next generation, right? I think the real magic is in the avionics. I mean, airplane's an airplane, right? So, they're teaching students now a little bit of radar stuff, probably data link, the more advanced stuff, because the jump from T-38 to Raptor or any fourth gen airplane is pretty big, and they're just trying to close
Does it
that
have
gap.
a radar?
I don't know if it does or not.
No,
But they could have
don't.
synthetic radar. They were doing that with the T-45 down in Pensacola too, where like they had like fake
Yep.
radar.
ADSB, yeah.
I guess I don't know.
TCAS.
But-
That's what the T-38C.
Yeah. So I mean, I do agree. I think it is quite a jump, frankly. I mean, Gonky, think about, and this is going back, but T-45 Alpha to you're gone. You're not going to listen to what I'm about to say, so it doesn't matter.
Well, okay.
T-45 to Hornet was even a jump. Right. I mean, that was no joke. There was a lot. And I mean, now if you think it's the same T-45 and you're going to an F-35, like, good luck, bro.
Well, the nice thing about the T-38C is that literally anything you fly after that's easier to fly. So, once you got all the avionics stuff, the flying part was easier, unless you were Gonky and you really couldn't understand any of the digital stuff. So you were just SOL. But while we wait for Gonky, there was another one that's unrelated.
He'll be back.
Hey, Mover, just got to Columbus Air Force Base for a UPT. This is from It's Eric. Any major advice? T-38 problems are making it hard to track fighters, with 3 to 4 going to 38s per class. So this is right on track, right? We're just talking about this in the article. T-38s are having problems. This thing's delayed. The fighter track, I mean, it is what it is. So what I will tell you is be a bro, know the boldface, study, help everybody else out. Don't worry about what you're going to track. Just worry about doing the best you can, helping everybody else out. And at the end of the day, even if you don't get fighters, I love the saying, grow where you're planted. Just do the best. Just do the best wherever you end up and enjoy it, because like Wombat, we've talked about this. You don't know where you're going to end up. You may start out not in a fighter and end up flying Hornets, for example. Wombat, what do you have for that?
My advice would be, unless It's Eric is 5 people in one, you only need one of those 3 to 4 spots. So don't even put it in your mind.
That's true.
So
yeah.
You just need one. That just means 3 or 4 or 2 or 3 of your buddies are also going to get a spot. That's how I'd look at it.
Welcome back, Gonky.
We did a motivational moment there about something very serious, but you missed it. Feel free to join into the podcast, and you could listen to this later when it goes live.
Wretched Rob says, Gonky's computer, you've got mail. Here's $2. So now we've just resorted.
The joke that never gets old.
Techno Faisal says, here's $2. If Gonky can be a fighter pilot, anything is possible.
Actually, that's not what he says. He
True.
says anything is possible.
Possible?
Well,
See?
Yeah, possible. Brian says, half for a veteran charity of y'all's choosing. Gonky is the veteran charity at this point, and half for better internet. Frosty
This is
Robot
awesome.
says, to the internet, Gonky. Dude, we're going to pay for a whole new, you're going to own
Frosty.
Starlink by the time this is over. To the
Thanks,
Gonky Internet
Frosty.
Fund.
I'm gonna fix this.
Dude, what's
Yeah.
going to be funny about this is fast forward like a week from now, and he's going to have better internet than the two of us.
He's going to see into the future.
Because he's not going to know how to order internet. So he's literally just going to be like,
give me the
like,
fastest thing you have.
He's going to have like 5 gig, 5G.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be way overdone.
Xfinity 10G. Yeah, it's he will have psychic powers. $2 from Ethan. Gonky, take my 10 Canadian.
2 pounds. 2 pounds.
Oh, 2 pounds. 2 pounds. Sorry.
Right.
This one's an actual serious one. Okay, this retired Navy SWO AA pilot is going to kick in a few bucks for a fellow Navy shipmate. Upgrade Gonky.
Dude, if nothing else has to be said here, Gonky,
Thanks,
homeboy
man.
just shipmated you. You need better internet. That's the ultimate when it comes to the Navy. you just got shipmated on the internet.
Whoa, shipmated. All right. Well, let's take a different turn. Gonky, I'm not sure you're going to be able to participate in this part because of the internet. You won't be able to watch the video that I'm about to present to the audience. Actually, before I show you the video, I want to get your thoughts on this, Gonky, as long as you're actually with us. Are you there?
Pause.
Yes.
There you go.
Okay. We need positive change of aircraft control.
Somebody had a really good idea. You need a clock with a sweeping second hand behind you on the wall so we can tell when it's here. That'd be perfect.
No. Gonky, so the next topic of discussion for today is Virgin Galactic will send rich people into space for the low price. I think it was $450,000. You too could be an astronaut on their rocket ship. And what we're going to show is I want to see your reaction to this video of them, part of the video, we're not going to watch the whole thing, of them soaring to suborbital space with its first commercial passengers that they just did last week on their successful thing. Before we get there, in case we lose Gonky when his internet tries to watch the video and all that stuff.
Nobody talk.
What do you think? Everybody stay still. Gonky, what do you think about Virgin Galactic sending people to space for $450,000? Would you do it?
No, I wouldn't do it. I watched the video and
sorry,
they're not in spacesuits. They don't use spacesuits. I take you didn't hear me.
No, I heard you. I love you, dude. The fact that you could seriously sit there with AOL internet when they're charging $450,000 and say, I wouldn't do it. Like, this cracks me up. Sorry. Dude, you have not changed one bit from the day that I met you at API, and I love that about you.
What?
Oh my God.
Would you do it for $450,000?
If they paid me?
I mean,
No. Hell no.
This is a bad time to talk
Would you go
about
down in a
this.
submarine
Really,
for $450,000?
I feel like there's a
No.
bad
The
track
submarine
record
was
with
only
this right now.
$250,000.
Yeah, so
Yeah, dude,
Uh,
it's the same. It's the same deal.
no, it's a horror. Well, it's not actually on the sub. It implodes inward in space. It goes
Dude.
out. That's science.
Blow up, right? Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
So, yeah,
No, I wouldn't do it.
All right,
I wouldn't
so
do it
let
'cause
us
of
watch
the-
this
I don't
video.
think- no,
Watch
the
the
technology's
video.
not
Watch
there.
the video before
No,
you
let's
say.
watch
You
the
so
video.
let's watch the video. Watch the
Watch the
DVD. Okay.
It's a great
Where's the video? Here's the video. Here we go, and we'll do low volume here.
Is this me in the spin and puke? Is that what we're watching here?
No, the Italians are at 44,000 feet, and they're in the mothership, and then the mothership says "see ya," and then they rocket into space.
2, 1, release, release, release.
Here you go.
Ignition. Good control.
You always want to hear them say "good control."
Bring the nose up.
It's very bad if somebody says no control or bad control.
Ruh-roh.
Set.
Yeah. So for the podcast viewers, we're watching a rocket go into space.
There's max Q. That's the maximum.
Max
dynamic
Q?
pressure.
I heard that in Armageddon. That's the first time I heard
Yeah.
Max
Border
Q.
experiencing
Max
about
Q?
3 Gs at the
I don't know what
Are
it
they
is.
under-
3Gs,
are
top
they
of
under
T,
a lot
no
of G?
WCs. Lester is obviously flying this thing.
In the vertical headed towards
So they're are they what? What's your
Are they-
question, Gonky?
Are they under a lot of G? They look like they're like.
No, it said
breathing
like
kinda hard.
3 or something.
Yeah, 3Gs, top of T, no WCs. Fuels good for about an hour. Clear. They got a full size iPad though.
That's good.
So I mean, 110,000, 112. I think they went like 52 miles is what they said.
Still have better internet than Gonky.
Yeah, they're somehow still
Signal's way
connected to
better.
the world. But it's just a rocket, like it's ballistic, right? They go and then
Yeah.
they fall and then they go the other,
predicted
like
apogee today is
apogee.
275,000 feet. That's
275,000 feet. Although that one said 175. So
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
know.
they can't see that. That's why they charged them $450,000.
So here's my thing. Is that a parachute on the dude's back? What is that?
Yeah, I think so.
So
Yeah.
why do you need a parachute if you're not in a pressure suit? Because you're dead.
It makes them feel better.
I mean, yeah, it makes you feel better. Exactly.
You're just adding weight at this point.
Yeah, exactly. It's the
Well,
same reason we wore dry suits in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. We weren't going to
No,
survive.
it's-
It just made us feel
No,
better.
it's for if failure happens at lower altitude, kind of like the crash.
But they
had,
started
right? That one guy-
44,000 feet.
Well, okay, you free fall for a while. And
But I mean, have you
Hold your
watched the
breath.
SpaceX or the astronauts in the any of the? They always wear pressure suits until they get to space and then
Yeah.
they take them off. This is kind of weird. Like you're really trusting this pressurization system.
yeah, which I don't.
Hey, at 175,000 feet, how quick do you become hypoxic? Does anybody have that chart that goes that far?
It's like negative. It's in the
Okay.
negative. Oh, look, there's
Yeah.
278, 279. They're going down to
Yeah.
zero airspeed.
Ugh.
Look, their internet has just turned to Gonky. Apogee. They used to make
Yeah,
good
no
video
thanks.
games back in the old
No.
Apple.
This is
The Tandy. Okay.
You know
They're on
what?
their way back down.
If you have the money for this, good for you. There's so many other things you can do with that money for good in this world that, I mean, what are you getting out of this? So you could be weightless. You could do that in a vomit comet. You know what I'm saying? You don't need to go,
You got a Cessna.
dude. That's true. It's true. So
Yeah.
ask one of my department heads. You could do it in the back of an E2 while you're taking a piss. I don't know how that happened, but he
Language.
would. Sorry.
Do you take a
Um,
shower?
He was not happy. Hey, sorry.
That's awesome.
Don't mess with the
That's
schizo,
awesome.
right? So, but the whole point
Love
I'm
it.
getting at is like, come on, $450,000. Like, I know I'm
Yeah.
biased. You know what that would do to like veterans organizations, PTSD, homeless? Like, there's so many things.
How many races
it's-
you could sponsor of Mover?
All right. Speaking
There
of
you
people
go.
that are concerned about themselves,
How much internet could you get for $450,000, man?
all of it, dude.
You could
Think
fly
about that.
to space and like talk to Starlink directly. You could
Exactly.
connect with the mothership.
I just don't.
where all the internet is stored.
I don't buy it, man. You know, life's too short. But hey, I don't have $450,000 worth of completely disposable
You-
income. And a
Well,
death
gosh,
wish.
well, you could sell your Mustang soon.
Mm,
Okay.
you're
All
more
right.
than
Well, we're
welcome
back to
come
the-
try to find a Mustang emblem on that car.
Despite
Um,
all of this, Modman says this is a fantastic podcast. Keep up the good work, guys. Thanks for being a good sport, Gonky. The bar is low
I'm gonna fix it.
and continues
I'm
to
gonna
get
fix
lower.
it. Hey, we're trying to manage expectations here. Remember?
Well,
Dude, your
there-
internet is its own character on this show. Like,
It
I'm not
really
sure
is.
you could kill off
It's
a
like
character.
my
in
poop
season
chair.
one.
it's like
Well,
my
no,
poop chair.
wait, that's on here. Wait, that's the
See?
next one. Is your internet so fast you can see into the future? Ethan says, Wombat auction the potty chair for Gonky's fund.
I've
Where is
got
the
two
poop
of
chair, by the
them.
way?
I've got two of them. I will more. I told you that before. I'll do an auction.
What's a potty chair?
Dude, catch up with the people you're on a podcast with. Seriously, man. God.
It was probably said while I was booted out of
No.
booted out.
No. So we're not going to space. The T7's late.
And
Planes
the
dump
F-22s are
fuel.
going to Tyndall.
Virginia's
Planes dump
garbage.
fuel. I'm not done yet. I'm not done
Because
yet.
it's much
I'm not
safer
done
to
yet.
dump fuel than it is to crash into a bunch of civilians. Have we summarized
if you-
everything so far?
If you light it on fire the proper way versus spontaneously. All right. So at AV for Life says, since finding your channel, I've gone from high schooler to private pilot and ROTC cadet. Have I been doing this that long?
Yeah, you're old.
Taking my AFOQ.
Yeah.
No, somebody commented the other day and said, Mover, you look old. I'm like, thanks, dude.
You're like, hey, thanks.
I appreciate thanks for inspiring young folk like myself. Cheers, Mover, Gonky, and Wombat.
That's awesome. Hey, Mover,
thanks.
you look a little
That's
too happy today. So, by the way, you look old. Just so we're clear.
Yeah. Well, I got the one guy
Beard.
challenging me to a BFM duel. Don Yeager says, retired F-18 avionics maintainer, Gonky, always fixing your stuff. Here's 5.
Maybe he could help you out.
Sorry.
Gonky.
It's
Gonky's
okay.
going to be.
Help.
Thanks for the advice. Any chance you know my pops, Lieutenant Colonel Mongo Jens, F-16 guy since 93 and A-10s before that, is still flying for the test at Nellis? No, but that's cool.
That is cool.
I wonder if T-Bear knows him. I bet T-Bear
He
would.
might.
Which T-Bear's birthday was
Technically.
yesterday. He's younger than Tom
Yep.
Cruise.
Yeah, and a way better pilot.
Thank you.
Yeah, he's flying crop dusters now. And then thanks for being a great sport and being sexy. Gonky, dude, this is turned into prostitution. This is your OnlyFans. Maybe you should start an OnlyFans. I hear they allow pictures instead of video.
Yeah.
I don't. What?
Are you freezing or are you trying to talk?
He doesn't know what
No.
OnlyFans is.
Yes, thank you, Wombat. I don't. Dude, where
Gonky's
do you,
too good of a guy.
you guys need to send me like a list of just stuff.
Hot topics.
Hot topics.
I gave you the list of topics.
Yeah, well, to
All right.
talk about today, not like potty chair,
Not real
like,
world
what else
stuff.
did I-
Like,
Not real, right?
you're so far behind at this point, bro. It's impossible to catch.
Let's
up.
talk
Just-
about the most
Yeah, I
important
always
part of
get
this
back on
whole
the
episode.
timeline, bro.
I know you do. Old burner. You'll
Say-
catch up.
Shifting gears, literally.
Literally.
Tom Cruise is developing Days of Thunder 2 with the Top Gun 2 director. They built on the success of Top Gun, and now they may redeem the failure of whoa.
Failure.
It was not a
failure.
failure. No,
No.
you
Rubbin's
fuck
racing.
yourself,
No.
man. It's a
Who
good
wrote this?
movie.
Giants.
Yeah.
Michelini Martin. Michelin. According to our trusted and proven sources, Tom Cruise and Top Gun Maverick director Joseph Kosinski. What's your problem, Kosinski? Are collaborating once more on Days of Thunder 2. They first worked together on Oblivion. Yeah, they did this with Tony Scott. It made some money, but it didn't come close to the Top Gun money. And we've exclusively learned that they are developing it. And that's all it really says. He's a race car driver.
Can I ask a dumb question?
There's no such thing as dumb questions, sir. Just dumb people who ask questions. Yes, go ahead.
Is there really so little of content out there?
No, listen, Wombat, you're a writer and so am I. Here's the scoop, okay? Tom Cruise, a.k.a. Cole Trickle, is a team owner himself, and he's got a heart condition, so he can't drive. So this young, plucky, old fighter pilot that's 40 years old and trying for a new career
Don't spoil
contacts
it.
him and says, I want to drive your car. I won't make a fool out of you. And then he says, don't make a fool out of me. And then he drives the car and he goes, let's go win Daytona. And then they win Daytona. And Nicole Kidman shows up. And then Margot Robbie. And then Wombat. The end. Questions?
I feel like everything is just the same story over and over and
You're such a killjoy, Wombat. You're such a killjoy.
Why can't we come up
I
with
just
new
gave you the
stuff?
plot of
Where's
the
the-
century. I gave you the best plot
Dude,
that has
was
ever
not
existed.
the plot of the century. That was the plot. All you did was add a fighter pilot to Days of Thunder 1.
Yeah.
Coming from a fighter pilot, that's not exactly breaking news, bro. I just don't. Why can't we come up with new stuff? Why isn't there it's just, I don't know.
Because
People don't
heavy
understand why.
doubters like you. That's why we
No,
can't come up
people
with new
want
stuff.
different stories.
Well, here's your
Well,
different
that
story.
it could be
okay?
like
Go ahead.
it could be like Top Gun. It could either be terrible or really good.
It could be, but I don't know. See, to me, and maybe I'm wrong, but to me, Top Gun is a world that very few people get to see. So it can hold a lot of its weight just on the flying and the action scenes. Whereas a lot of people watch race car driving every weekend.
They don't get behind the scenes.
It's okay. I get what your point, but there's only so much that you can do. You need a solid storyline in that. It can't just be Top Gun 2 light. And again, I repeat, you need a solid storyline.
Why you're not? Listen, I will talk to myself. Next time Gonky's internet is frozen, I'm just going to talk to myself instead of having all this
you know what I'm
negativity
trying
in
to
my
tell
life.
you, Mover? Do you really want to know what I'm trying to say? Your books are better. The books you write are a better storyline than what you. But that's my point. Is
Well, you're peeing in his Cheerios, man.
I'm telling him his writing is far better than that ridiculous story.
He's pushing the O's all over my bowl of cereal.
Yep.
Thank you. All right.
He does that sometimes,
way.
Mover.
Go watch Full Trickle 2 and don't read Mover's books. I don't know what to tell you. I'd read Mover's books. They're better.
Of the race in Chicago.
There it is.
See, that's a good segue because we were going to talk about. Yeah, it really is. Paul is on the ball. Mover, what did you think of the races? So here's what I thought, because I'm probably the only NASCAR guy here. Definitely the only NASCAR guy here.
I mean, it's fine.
I thought that the 4th of July should be Daytona. Like the night race, the Pepsi race is, to me, that's tradition, just like the first Daytona race. The Firecracker 400 or the Pepsi 400 or whatever it's called this year, that should be the July race. However, I watched the Chicago race, and when they said we're going racing and the track was wet and it had just been raining, like the race car driver in me was like, because I've raced in the rain. Have you ever raced in the rain? You ever done road racing in the rain? Either of you? It sucks. It sucks. I mean, it is not fun. No traction. You can't see anything. Everything's fogged up. Like, I felt for those dudes, especially narrow track, first time on the track. You know, it's just, it had the recipe to be just a disaster, but they did really well. And they did really well on wet tires. And then finally the track dried up and they went to dry tires. And the storyline became, I'm going to butcher the name just like every other, hold on, let me make sure I'm going to read it right. Shane Van, it's either Gisbergen or Gisbergen because they call him the Jizz. So I'm not real sure. But the Kiwi from down under, he races the Aussie Supercar V8 series. He showed up and he was like, "Oi, I got this." And
because Aussies are nuts. That's what makes them awesome.
He was just like, he's Kiwi. And as I was corrected on Twitter.
Sorry.
But the last 10 laps.
New Zealander?
Yeah. The last 10 laps were epic. It was a great race. I mean, it was just, that's your storyline. This dude showed up and had never been in a NASCAR before, had never been, like, first time in the U.S., first time driving a NASCAR. He's like, I got this. And then he just won. And he made everybody else look like he was like 2 seconds faster than the fastest lap.
Wasn't that
guy was awesome?
Just
I don't
like
think
Cole
he was real
Trickle,
NASCAR.
who was open wheel, and then he had never driven. And
he wasn't open wheel, though. He was supercars. They're almost the same car.
Well, okay.
And that's
I'm just saying.
But
okay.
Mover, I mean, I watched the highlights. It didn't. I mean, it was a car race, but it wasn't to me. It wasn't a NASCAR race.
Why? Because of
happened to be NASCARs driving through the city, racing through the city.
Yeah, I mean, when they went to the next gen car, I mean, it's basically an IMSA car. I mean, that's why they were able to take Garage 56 and go to Le Mans. I mean, that is the evolution of it: independent rear suspension, center lugs, all that stuff. But it makes for good road racing, at least.
Sure.
200 mile an hour on the high bank. That's NASCAR to me.
I don't disagree.
I'm old fashioned, clearly.
Yeah. No, man. I have a lot of respect for true NASCAR. When I did the Shelby School and went to Charlotte and was up on the. It doesn't say Mustang School, Corvette nerd. So when I went to the Shelby School,
Triggered.
you're on that bank. That's legit, man. Like that's a whole different world I've never experienced. Like it's pretty cool. So I agree. Keep NASCAR. Have we not learned from everything else? Like you can be really good at one thing. You don't have to try to be a jack of all trades. Like I don't get that. Like be good at one thing. Like be really good and be a good dude.
Why are you attacking me, dude? Are you an Esquire too? Is that what you're doing? Are you the Esquire?
I'm not.
Is this what this is about?
Is that the guy on Twitter that?
Yeah, says I could only talk about one thing at a time.
I stood up for you yesterday on Twitter. Thank you very much. It
sounds like that's just so you wouldn't be recognized as the perpetrator. It's your troll account. That's why he only has 48 followers.
I agree with Wombat, man. Keep NASCAR. I mean, what's next? Formula One race in Talladega? The High Bank. I mean,
that would be cool. Awesome, though. That would be awesome. Let's
actually,
do
now that I think about it, that would be cool.
That would be. The crashes would be pretty dope. They just shoot right off the side.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like this world has lost its creativity a little bit. That's all. We're Band-Aid fixing it.
So angry, Gonky.
I'm not
so
angry.
Innovate. You're a grumpy old man now.
I'm not.
Get off my lawn.
What are you talking about?
Don't change things. Laura says 2 pounds, right? 2 pounds to help send Mover to space. We're budgeting now. 2 pounds for Gonky's internet and 2 pounds for Wombat to go wild with.
Sweet.
Thank you, Laura. Wow.
Wretched Rob says, this question is for Gonky. Will you ever signal lost? And once again, thank you. Also, great artwork behind you.
That's hilarious. Oh my god!
Did you move rooms?
I love it,
Gonky, throughout this chaos? Because I could have sworn you had stuff behind you at some point when we were first talking.
No, you're thinking of his mobile command center that he's done these.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay,
yeah, different.
Live.
It's funny.
Live from the compound in Afghanistan. It's Gonky. Michael says, keep up the work, Mover. Discovered you at the start of 2020. Went for it. Got hired by an A-10 squadron in 2021 with the Air Force Reserve Command. Got DQ'd in 2022. Still trying to fight to this day. Glad you do what you do. Take some of this for Gonky's dial-up. Thank you.
Dude, keep fighting, bro.
Keep fighting.
Oh, wow.
Email me.
Thanks.
I've got
Michael.
a flight dog friend that might be able to help you.
Keep fighting.
Wombat should stop dumping fuel and fund Gonky's. It probably got cut off, but it's internet, more than likely. All right. Well, folks, that is the end of our. Actually, I had this. You know what? Let's put this in there. The mental health minute. Wombat.
Why do I have to start with that?
Because you're the only one that can reliably say something serious. And
you can't throw that on us at the last minute.
Fine. I forgot I'd put this in here, so to speak.
I'll do a mental health minute.
Do it.
Do a mental health minute. You've got to, this world, like we all have ups and downs, right? We all have highs and lows. It's just the reality of it. You know what I post, never down, never out, all that. Gonky, this is serious. So don't freeze with a smile on your face because people think you're laughing at me. But I feel like there's so many people out there that truly are struggling. Your buddies are out there. They're having a hard time. They're going through things you don't necessarily know about. And I think it really is important now more than ever, and we don't need to get political on here or anything, but like the world's kind of crazy and it's still crazy. Like it never came uncrazy from 2020. And there's a lot of people that have quieted down. And I know, my small circle, which is very small, I try to reach out as much as possible. And I think everybody should do that because you got to look out for each other because that's all that really matters. I mean, all this stuff's fun to talk about and we can talk SH about, fighters being behind timelines and people dumping gas and God help the fishes and all this other stuff. But if you can't take care of your buddies, like, what are we even doing? You know what I mean? So that's my mental health.
I'm sorry. I started laughing because Gonky froze with his eyes closed and I couldn't tell if he was napping. I got to know where to look on the screen.
Are we in SEER school again? Is that your SEER school? Blink if you're alive.
So
1,000-yard stare.
That's really good stuff. And the reason I brought this up was because I think it's important to talk about mental health. I think it is something that, we pay lip service to sometimes. But I've had a rough year and a half, 2 years. Even this month, I lost my best friend dog behind me, and people don't say, hey, when he's in your life for 14 years, it sucks. And the one thing I will say, having pushed through this and still dealing with it on a day-to-day basis, is you got to put one foot in front of the other. And when things feel like they're the lowest, you rely on your buddies, you rely on the people that have your back, and you just one step at a time. It may seem like a mountain you can't climb, but it's one step at a time, one day at a time, 1 minute at a time if you have to. But at the end of the day, if you are struggling, there are the suicide prevention hotline. There's the VA's got the crisis hotline. There are tools that you can use that will, you don't want to make a temporary problem a permanent one. And you don't want to make something that, it may seem like the worst thing in the world to you right now, but it's really not something that you can overcome it. It's something that you can get through. Even if you don't think so now, there is light at the end of the tunnel. And there's a great song. It's called Afterlife. Citizen Soldier wrote it. And I really like it because it's just saying, hey, if you can just hold on just a little bit longer, we can get you to the afterlife, to the after of whatever's going on now. We can pull you through. You just have to hang on and take that one step at a time and get help. Don't be afraid to ask for help. There's a video that's going around Instagram, makes me tear up every time. Trooper pulls over a veteran and he's just breaking down. He's just on the side of the road, and the guy just hugs him and says, look, we'll get you help. This is not going to cost you anything. This is we want you to get through this. We want to help you. And I've seen, I'm a sheriff's deputy. I've seen a lot of people. I see the unsuccessful attempts where we, either get to them before or we get to them in the process, or I've seen the successful attempts where, things have gone really wrong and they make the ultimate choice. And I always say, nothing is permanent unless you make that choice. We can always work through just about anything and try to use the tools that are available, because there's a lot out there, especially for veterans, especially for, law enforcement, first responders, even outside. I mean, there are tools available that are free. Like, we have mental health resources here in the parish that I work in. We have resources available that are totally free so that you can talk to somebody and get help, because we don't want to get there when it's too late. So
yeah, I agree.
That's what I'll say on that. Gonky, do you have anything?
Yeah, I'm a Christian. I'm part of a good church and stuff. So, I would say give it your best, and I give the rest to God. And at the end of the day, that's all you can do, at least in my opinion. That's what helps me get through the tough times.
Awesome.
I agree. Reach out. I'm here. I could speak for myself. I'm here. Instagram, email, if you need somebody to talk to. I've done it before. It doesn't bother me. Reach out.
So this will be the end of our first episode. I hope there is another episode. It's been quite the journey. If we can, we'll see how it plays out, but we'll see what the response is. But parting shots around the room, Gonky. Now your internet works fine.
I will get better internet.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yeah, there it is. It cut out halfway through. You're saying you were going to get better internet, so that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, we'll just have a translator for you.
Awesome.
Wombat,
Perfect.
what you got, man?
Thanks for having me. I always enjoy coming on here. You guys are the best. I really do. It's funny, Gonky. We've known each other for decades, brother. I miss this, so it gives me the opportunity to do this, and it's fun.
Will you be able to make future episodes, Wombat?
I will do. Here's what I'll give you. I'm going to do everything I can to be on every one I can. How about that?
There you go.
But you got to change
thanks,
the logo. I need my name on it.
Nate will be on there. Nate will be on there here in a little bit. All right. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll break these up into smaller episodes for the other channels, and we'll see you next Monday, maybe. I don't know. See you later.